What's going on, YouTube? Chris here. Want to bring you all an update today of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, XRP, OMG, Link, and ADA. So we're going to be going over 7 coins today, trying to show you guys some love here. So if you get something from this, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. You like me covering all these coins, not just doing Bitcoin or Ethereum. Let me know down low. Let me know what you're here for. So that's Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, XRP, OMG, Link, and ADA. That's what we're going to be looking at today. So first off, guys, we're going to jump into Bitcoin here. Everything's going to be on the 1-day time frame that we're looking at today, so we get a bigger picture view, because what Bitcoin's still been doing is consolidating, still moving sideways. Now, what we've talked about that I don't like is the fact that now we've been trading under this 50 moving average for over a week. Guys, we've gotten very comfortable underneath this, and you can see we're starting to get a little bit of resistance now, a little bit of selling pressure right at this 30 EMA as well, and that's going to be in purple. I've been paying a lot of attention to the 30 EMA. And guys, you can see typically in uptrends, you'll stay up above that 30 most of the time and that 50. And in downtrends, a lot of the times you'll be below it. So that's why we have to be so careful right now, because we're still trading below the 30. We're trading below that 50. What we have going for us is the 200. We still are up above that. And you can see that still is curving up a little bit here. So if we were to start falling down, that's the first area of support that I would truly look at. And that's going to be at $8,368. In the micro sense, I have these shorter term little support areas, which I have them at 8,913. Then it'd be down around that 8,710. Then it'd be right around that $8,500. But for me, I would look down to that 200 moving average at 8,368 if we are to start to dump to the downside. I still have my alarm in at 9,034 as well. Right now, we're sitting at 9,225. And what you can see, though, guys, as we've been trading up in this area, our relative strength, if we drew even a trend line here, which I'll do for us. So we'll pull this out, and we'll draw that there. This is the trend line I would want to see us break out through and get a nice move to the upside. And what that's going to take is volume, because what you see here is this is a short-term downtrend. We're having lower highs and lower lows coming in. So this is the place where you need to protect yourself. You need to look at capital preservation as the most important thing, because if this is distribution at the top here, guys, we could have a fall down to $6,000 very quick. But yet again, if we can get out and say the whale jumps in and we can get up above this yellow trend line here, then we can start attacking $9,700. Then it'd be up around that $10,000. But ultimately, what we need to do is get over top of $10,500 so we can get out of the macro downtrend. But right now, the volume's not very impressive, guys, and we need heavier volume to get out of that. Okay, so if we're looking at Bitcoin right now, we have an 8 sell, 9 neutral, and 11 buy. So it is nice to see that the summary is trying to fight back into that buy signal. Our oscillator's extremely neutral, 1 sell, 8 neutral, 2 buy, and then our moving averages right now, 7 neutral, or I'm sorry, 7 sell, 1 neutral, 9 buy is what we're looking at there. So guys, that's Bitcoin. Be very careful with this 50 moving average and this 30, because as they start to curl over top of you, it's going to want to push the trend down. Okay, so that's why it's so important to stay up above those for support. So that's Bitcoin, guys. You get something from that, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, share with your friends. We're going to move on to Ethereum next. We know that Ethereum is going to be the driver of the altcoin market, so it's always important to take a look at Ethereum. Ethereum's basically been ranging between $216 and around that $252. We've been bouncing back and forth in this area. Ethereum's still ahead of Bitcoin because we're still up above this 50 moving average. We're fighting with this 30 EMA in purple, which is going to be important for us to get back up above. But the same deal, if we can't continue to hold $216, we're going to be looking down to around $189.75. That's going to be that 200 moving average, and we have held that now roughly since April 22nd. So that's something we want to stay up above. Longer term investors really look at that 200 moving average, and they want us to stay up above that. If you're below it, that's when typically the shorts will come out, and people will be shorting it off that 200 moving average when it's acting as overhead resistance. So for us, it's important to stay up above that. But yet again, what's tough, as we're ranging up in this area, our relative strength is not increasing to the upside. You can actually see we're having lower highs and lower lows coming in. If we take a look at our trading view, so you can see it's a little bit of ahead of Bitcoin right here. We have an 8 sell, 9 neutral, and 11 buy. oscillators, 1 sell, 8 neutral, 2 buy, and then our moving averages are extremely neutral, 7 sell, 1 neutral, 9 buy. So that's where we're just waiting to see if Ethereum's going to get that push over $252 so that we can start attacking higher levels up there around that 286. But right now, guys, we're just ranging. We're moving sideways. This is time to be careful. You have to be patient. I talked to my wife and everyone about this. It's just like fishing. You have to be patient. You have to be calm. And you have to be ready for when the fish does strike. Same with chart patterns and everything here. When we're moving sideways, you have to be patient. The volume's going to die down, and we're waiting for the market mover to push this market in the direction that it wants to push this market. So be very patient, guys. That's Ethereum. Next, we're going to move into Litecoin. Remember, this is all on the one-day time frame. Litecoin right now is sitting at $41.76. Yet again, it's been weaker of all the coins. You can see we're below this 30 moving average. We're below our 50. We're below our 200. So to open up a long in Litecoin right now, in my opinion, is extremely dangerous until we start getting up above that 200 moving average, or at least up above that 50 moving average. Because, guys, when you have these things, excuse me, pressing down on you, that's when you can get in trouble, because the moving averages will act as overhead resistance. And if we take a look here, this is also going to correlate. We have a 14 sell, 10 neutral, and a 4 buy right now. So this is where you need to be careful, because if we draw on our relative strength index right now, which is at 43, same deal here, guys. We could probably take it all the way back to the end of April here and stretch this out. So this is going to be the overhead resistance line that we're going to need to get out and up from under here in the short term. Okay, so Litecoin, guys, it's really behind. It needs to get moving right now. It needs to start getting up over top of roughly about $44.43, and then it would be around this 200 moving average at $49.50. So right now, of all of the ones I've been looking at, Litecoin is much more weak than Bitcoin and Ethereum. Okay, so that's Litecoin, guys. Next one we're going to move into is XRP. This is another one, guys, been having some weakness to it. So it's the same deal. It's a little bit weaker than Litecoin is even. You can see how far we are below this 30 EMA. We're below our 50. We're below our 200. The support that I wanted to hold was 0.17853. And you can see we're starting to trade below that right now. So that's something you really want to keep your eye on. What we need to get up above was 21 cents. That's the big deal right up in here. And that's where we've seen rejection quite a few times. But for XRP, guys, the trend, we've just been getting pushed down so hard over and over and over. And remember, this on the one-day time frame, we're having lower highs and lower lows continuously coming in. Our best chance is to set a higher low here and then potentially go up and set a higher high. But you can see consistently since the parabolic top in 2017, lower highs and lower lows have been coming in, and this is where we need a higher low here, because if we have a lower low, we could be looking down at 7 cents, guys. We have went down below to 10 cents before, so don't say 7 cents can't happen if Bitcoin has a massive dump. So that's why you have to be so careful. And the problem for me with XRP is just how many XRP there are. The supply is massive, and it just seems like they keep dumping it on top of people. And you can see over here, Ripple price analysis, things looking grim for XRP as bears attempt to push below 1900 sats. So, you know, guys, I'm not saying good things aren't happening for XRP, but the chart pattern right now is extremely weak. Okay, but in cryptocurrency, you can see even over here, guys, things can change in the matter of a day or two. We can be moving sideways. We were right around 25 cents the last time before we blasted off and went up to over $3. So, you know, anything can happen in this space. But when you're just looking at the technicals right now, XRP is looking pretty weak. And if we take a look, we have a 15 sell, 10 neutral, and a 3 buy right there. So that's also going to confirm it, and that's on the one-day time frame. So that's XRP, guys. If you're here for that, let me know down low so I can keep adding that in for us. The next one's going to be Omise Go. Like I said, guys, people can pick on Omise Go. This is one I really like. Overall, we have had our trend line break, which is nice. You can see how here we're having the lower highs and lower lows, but we actually set our first higher low than this area here of around $1.37. Some people say it's just because of the Coinbase listing. That's what really gave it the pop, but we're going to have to wait and see right now. But, you know, guys, this could turn into a massive bull flag if Ethereum wants to get moving, because we had this huge pull up. Okay, so huge pull up you can see on heavier volume. Then typically the volume will dry up. We really didn't have a ton of selling here compared to the volume that came in. Then what happens is if Ethereum will get moving, we potentially could get that next pop to the upside to try to get over $1.89. So overall resistance that I'm paying attention to, the most important, is $1.89. In terms of support, we are starting to trade below this 50 moving average, which I don't like because we've been up above it since roughly April 23rd, 2020. So if we start dropping that, guys, we may actually come back down to this 200 moving average, which is going to be at 93 cents. Me, for my positions in Omise Go, I actually have some stop losses in just in case we do start having this massive drop to the downside, because this is a pretty big gap here. If we pull out our price range tool, say we drop from here down to the 200, you're looking at a 35% drop to the downside if that does occur, because of how aggressive this move was to the upside. Now, if we take a look at TradingView, we'll go in here and take a look. We have a 12 sell, 10 neutral, and a 6 buy. So you see how things are starting to switch to that sell signal because we're losing this 30. We're starting to lose this 50. And if this 30 starts crossing down through the 50, that could be enough to start pushing us to the downside. But yet again, guys, it's all going to depend on what Ethereum does. Ethereum is going to be the driver. Omise goes an ERC20 token, and that's what we have to pay attention to. Same deal, guys. RSI last time got up around 90. That was the time to take your profits there. And then since then, lower highs, lower lows on the relative strength index, which is sitting at 46 right now. And with that being so neutral, guys, we could get pushed up. You've seen us up at 90 before, and we've been down around 18 before. So there's plenty of room to either blast up through that $2 or really start dropping hard back to this teal trend line that we broke out through. And a lot of times that'll happen. You'll have this breakout, then you'll come back to the trend line. You'll have a throwback onto it, and then you'll start moving again. But that can hurt performance if you do have that large throwback. So I want you all to be aware of that. So that's Omise Go. The next one we're going to look at is Link. Link right now, guys, it has some potential. And the reason why I say it has some potential here, obviously, if Bitcoin and Ethereum get moving, you can see this is our previous top here. We had a double top right up around, we'll call it $4.90, close to $5. And now we're at that same area. We're trading up above the 30. We're trading up above the 50. We're trading up above the 200. So that's all good. If we can break up above that $4.88, $4.90, it would basically be a blue sky breakout. It would just depend on how far this price can continue to run before the sellers overwhelm the buyers. But, you know, this is not a bad area, because we're sitting right at this resistance. If we can start having candle closes up above it, things can really happen, because when you don't have a ton of overhead resistance there staring you in the face, that's when you can really get these big long runs. Just like this, when we dropped hard to the downside, it was almost like in the stock market, a huge gap. Cryptocurrency doesn't close, so when you have these big pulls down, it's similar to a gap. And what happened on the backside, you made this huge move to the upside, and I believe the same thing could happen if we start getting up over top of this in the whole cryptocurrency space gets moving. Link really could run hard, guys, so I want you to be aware of that. Right now, overall resistance, $4.90. What we want to hold as support is going to be our 50 moving average right around $4.21. If we take a look at TradingView, you can see how far ahead it is. We have a strong buy, 0 sell, 9 neutral, and a 19 buy. This is where if you're holding Link, guys, you definitely want to continue to hold. To me, it just makes me nervous buying right at this resistance level, regardless of what TradingView says there, right at this resistance level when we haven't seen what Ethereum or Bitcoin's going to do yet. So if you're not in a position, just not financial advice, I wouldn't jump in right now. But if you're holding a position, this is a nice place to be right now. If you got in at lower levels and you're sitting here and you're waiting to see if we do get that big resistance break. So not a bad place to be right now for Link. We're starting to get a little stock cross here, which is a higher low as well. Relative strength index is moving to the upside. We're looking at about 62 right there. So that's Link, guys. You want me to keep covering Link, really let me know down low in the comments section so I know to keep it in there for y'all. That's one I have never traded Link yet, but I'm just looking at it, waiting to see if there are good opportunities. And the next one, we're going to do ADA. I know a lot of people wanted to look at this one, so we'll take a look here. It's right around 9 cents. And guys, what's going on with ADA here? We had a nice little push up yesterday. We got up over, but now we're running into pretty stiff overhead resistance here, and that's going to be right around that 0.098341 is going to be the overhead resistance that we need to get up through. But this one's even looking a hair better in terms of up above the 30, the 50, and that 200, and we had a golden cross here, so that's not looking too bad, guys. We've had some heavier volume coming in to get us that push to the upside, but this is still where we have to be careful, because if we take a look at this now, our price before was up around that 0.090956, and our relative strength was up around 82. And now what you see is a higher price, and our relative strength is around 75 right now. And with us up around that 67, 75, right in that range, we are starting to get up into overbought territory. So what you want to look for when you're running into overhead resistance, if you start to have some of those overextended RSIs or stochastic cross to the downside, that's the stuff that you really want to look at. But, it's important that ADA is making these nice strong moves here. And if we drew a trend line, which it's going to be steep, but if we go down here and we'll just draw a rough one right here, what we're trying to get is the most touches possible is what you want to look at. So we'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So right in this area is going to be our valid trend line. This is going to be the trend line that I want to pay attention to. Now, the only problem with this is how steep it is, and steep ones tend to break easier. So if we take a look at this angle here and pull up through, we're looking about a 45-degree angle or so. So this is getting up there, guys. I want you to pay attention to that, but this is what I want to hold, this trend line. If we start having trend line breaks down below it, we look for previous resistance turn to support would be around that 0.071774 is what I'd be looking at there. Okay, so we just had a little bit of divergence though. If you drew a trend line here, price is going higher, but we're actually losing a little strength on our RSI, so we do want to be aware of that right now. So guys, that's our 7 coins. You get some from this. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. I appreciate you all being here with me today. Leave me some love down there. God bless you all. Take care.